Hello everyone, I'm Yolina Petrova from Identrics. You probably know Nessin, but as you see, he's not here today. You have me, for better or worse. Let's see whether this thing works. Yeah, this is me. Today I'm not going to talk about how AI revolutionizes everything. I'm going to talk about how actually it doesn't. The fact that most AI projects fail and what happens when they don't. Now we all say that we are AI driven these days, don't we? But a sobering report from MIT shows that nearly 90% of the AI projects never reach production. It seems like history is repeating itself. Remember the metaverse, the blockchain, they all promised to reinvent the world, attracted billions of investments, and delivered little. AI is on the track of doing the same mistake. Too many leaders green-white AI projects, not because they are seeking for a real business solution, but because they don't want to be left behind the AI hype. And the result is that despite over 40 billions of investments in AI enterprise, still the majority of organizations don't see real measurable results. And this doesn't happen because the AI models don't work. They usually do. It happens because they are built in isolation, without the context of domain expertise, without knowing the processes that are happening in the organization, without knowing the bigger picture purpose. And when this disconnection appears, AI doesn't solve the misalignment, it actually amplifies it. What we need to try to do is don't rely on technology and AI that is just hype. We need to search for methodological, scientific solutions. And this brings me to our field, the media intelligence world. How does misalignment look like in our world? It hides behind plain sight. It's called advertising value equivalent. It's a simple metric. It says that one article equals one ad or one value point. It's simple, it's seductive, and it's utterly useless in our reality. Because let's face it, a front page article that nobody reads weighs less than an online post that changes policies. Because audiences don't consume media like that anymore. They swipe, they scroll, they interact, and unfortunately, the AVE cannot catch this. It cannot make the difference between it. The AVE is actually hiding in a plain sight, and it's the equivalent of the AI hype that we see now. It seems like it measures something real, but in reality, it's not relevant to the context that we have right now. And it's not alone. We have also the classical static reach, the one that measures the audience. You know how we cite a single phrase like 2 million people were reached by your story. But the fact is that most of those 2 million people didn't even notice the story. They swiped past it between a cat meme or a simple children funny video or something like that. It doesn't capture engagement, it doesn't care for credibility, it doesn't measure trust, and when disconnected from those, it's just another vanity metric. It doesn't say enough. We saw this gap growing together with our partners from Medianet, and we were pressured by brands that were looking for evidence of interactions, not impressions, by public organizations that wanted to measure trust, not just traffic. And instead of starting with code, we're starting with asking a simple question. What would a valid score look like? Something that doesn't chase the hype, but it's built with transparency. It's simple, it's explainable, you can click through it, you can see what stands behind it. so that your judgment is not replaced by AI. You still keep the humans, but it's informed by AI. So it gives you a lens through which you can kind of think more and better about the data you have. We were not after something flashier, shinier. We wanted something real, something that works. So we went to the communication experts. We talked to analysts, journalists, communication scientists. We went to the literature and found out that there are 3 specific pillars that came up in each and every story. Those who are where the story comes from, who it came from, and how people reacted to it. Or said in another way, source, authority, and audience. We made simulations with millions of historical data, testing and predicting the trends of those 3 information pillars, source, authority, and audience. And we measured how the real long-term trend actually looks like. We saw that indeed the influence, the impact of each and every story is measured, it's influenced by those 3 things. This is how we decided to create a new framework for measuring impact, and we call it the R.E.A.L impact. Indeed, reach is in the beginning of it. This is the classical reach, the snapshot of the past. How many people got in contact with the specific source before? You can use this information, the snapshot of the past, in order to inform your judgment about what could happen if a story appears in this same source now. We try to make this thing updated. We catch the snapshot of the reach of each and every outlet that is out there every month, so that we can know and be updated of what is happening now. But reach is just the surface level. It's not enough. It doesn't catch engagement. It doesn't catch the dynamic part of how impact is influenced. So the second pillar is engagement. We made a couple of predictive models and saw that the stories are indeed live, and there is a very short time frame that predicts whether the story will live or it will die forever. And this time frame is just 30 hours. So we made sure that our framework keeps this dynamic essence, and we measure near real time the engagement of every story that is being published out there, and we update the score or the impact of this story. Next, there is authority. Because just as timing matters, origin matters as well. Where the story comes from matters. Who creates it matters. And we took from sciences a very nice analogy in here. In science, influence is not measured by how often someone speaks or how loud this person is. It is measured through how often this person is cited through peers, how many times it is referenced. And we took this analogy from sciences and we applied it to media intelligence. So we created a network model that takes into account all those interactions between the people who are creating content, the topics on which they're writing, the networks in which they're writing, and we made a dynamic map of who actually influences the talk at this moment for which topic, for which network. And this interactive dynamic map of influence is updated every month as well, because just like in science, the authority changes when new studies emerge. In media communication, the authority changes as new authors start to write about new topics, and so on, and so on. And only when you treat all of those 3 pillars together, reach, engagement, authority, standing for source, audience, and author, you have the leverage of actually measuring the impact of your studies. This is a simple score from 1 to 100, and it contains all of this information. If you take this article right here, it seems like Jane Doe from the Funny magazine wrote an article about our event. It's fake, by the way. I'm not distributing false information. And at this very moment, the real impact score, the influence of this article is estimated around 73.4. Because the way in which we constructed this framework is transparent, no black boxes, no mystery weights, you can expand and go deeper into the discourse and see what actually stands behind it. Obviously, it was published in a source which is relatively well followed by the audience. It has an authority score which is quite nice. Remember that all of this is constructed between a number of 1 and 100. And it seems like people are engaging with it a lot. In 5 hours' time, this score will be different. If the engagement keeps rising, the score will rise as well. This was very important for our framework because we wanted to make it dynamic. We wanted to make it relevant for the time right now. So the score is updated within those very, very important 30 hours so that users can actually get to know how viral the story it is today while it is going out there, and not 2 weeks later when the story is already dead. And if you know, you can even dig deeper. For example, if you click on the engagement, right here you will see how people actually reacted to the story. Were they resharing it? Were they defending it, debating it, and so on and so on? Or if you click on authority, you will see how the authority of this specific author was calculated, which topics were relevant for her, and so on and so on. Now, there's a new AI buzzword every day nowadays. R.E.A.L, synthetic data, agents, you name it. Most of them won't matter in a few months because the majority of them are like newborns. They're exciting, but they lack the fundamentals. It's not like that, the way in which you actually transform your industry. You need something else. You need domain expertise. You need methods. You need collaboration. You need transparency. You don't need one person who is doing POCs and revolutionizing everything with flashy dashboards. It's not working like that. You need a domain expert, someone who understands the real problem behind your business. You need an AI engineer who listens to the domain experts and knows the fundamentals of AI. And you need a leader who can actually unite those people and make sure that they're following the strategy and are keeping their eyes on the purpose. This is how you make added value. And when we started designing our framework together with Medianet, the so-called R.E.A.L impact score, we wanted to do something very, very simple. We wanted to make measurement, media evaluation meaningful again. A very, very small goal. We wanted to make it AI-informed, something that is calculated near real time, automated, something that helps people, something that you don't need data scientists to understand, something that you can scroll through and see in detail how it was actually calculated. We started small. We tested one kind of content only. We reiterated, we adapted. Then we made slight scaling, retested, reevaluated, refined again. This is how you add value. This is how you make things happen, by following a scientific method. So if you want to add value for yourself, think big, but start small. Test, refine, reiterate, scale intelligently. And if there's one thing only that I can leave you with a thought from this talk, let it be this. You don't need the biggest model out there. You need the right one. This is how AI actually attracts trust. This is how you make impact real. Thank you.